Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So today I'm going to bring you a Texans off-season preview, I guess. This is if I were the owner of the Texans, what I would do, and this is not necessarily what they should do, but what I would do if I was in their spot, basically. I'm also filming this a little bit before I go ahead and stream on my Twitch, which I will not promote here. I'll probably maybe post it in the description, but other than that, I'm not going to read you guys too much in that. So first off, let me talk about who I think we should trade for if I were the Texans. First off, Laramie Tunsil. If I was the Texans, I'd try to get a solid left guard and maybe some draft capital for Laramie Tunsil. I feel like that would be the best route to go. Obviously, Deshaun Watson, you'd want maybe a solid QB or just they don't have a first round, I don't think. So you'd want a QB from whatever team you're going to, go to or send him to, and probably a first, maybe 2 firsts, depending on who you end up sending him to. Brandon Cooks, I feel like, will be traded for, a mid-round, maybe a couple mid-rounds, because he's actually a pretty solid receiver. I think he's underrated, probably one of the most underrated members of any team's wide receiving core. And I honestly think there's a chance you may sign, maybe you trade Desmond King, the corner that they got from the Chargers. No, they actually might have gotten that from the Titans. My bad. Desmond King, Justin Reed, those are both sign or trade type of options. In-house free agents, I think you re-signed Tyrod Taylor in case you still want a capable backup in case something happens to whoever you do get for Deshaun Watson. I think David Johnson you cut. He's simply not that good a running back. Rex Burkhead was a lot better than him this past season, and that's saying a lot because Rex was always like a third down back before. Malik Collins, you signed him. If nothing else, he's good enough depth or like a rotational guy. Justin Britt, you perhaps re-sign him. I say perhaps because you could get a better center in free agency, but if you can't, I would re-sign Justin Britt. Already talked about Desmond King. Christian Kirksey, I would probably re-sign him just because he's still a good veteran leader, but I would cut him if you needed the cap space to go elsewhere. Eric Wilson, I would put him on the practice squad. Gruger Hill, sign him. AJ Moore, sign him. Cut Danny Amendola, simply put, he's just old and he really hasn't produced for quite a while. Terrence Brooks, you cut him. Chris Conley, you cut. Don't know why I put that there. Vincent Taylor, you signed him to the practice squad. DeMarcus Walker, you sign him as a depth or practice squad player. You cut Hardy Nickerson Jr., Justin Reed, we already talked, you sign or trade him. Gio Johnson, you sign. I put a question mark for him because I feel like his production was decent, but he was also on a terrible team, so anything looks decent, really. But you can re-sign him to a short, maybe simple, depth type of deal. Anthony Acular, practice squad. Chris Moore, practice squad. You sign Royce Freeman because you don't want to get rid of all your running backs. But Royce Freeman, I feel like, is just a better and cheaper option than David Johnson, and he also has a little less mileage on his body. So I feel like that would, hold on, I'm actually looking at my timer there to make sure it's moving. But yeah, you sign Royce Freeman. Gardner Christian, you sign him to the practice squad. Jordan Akins, you cut him. He's a tight end. You can find plenty of tight ends on the open market trade, or even draft him if you really want to. And I just feel like isn't good enough. Grayland Arnold, I think his name is, practice. Jimmy Morrison, practice squad. Jake Martin, cut him. And obviously I have the trade away portion that I already talked about. Now each page of this notebook that I have right here is actually going to be a different team. I don't know if I'll do front and back will be different teams, but that's just for like re-signings and stuff like that. Now, what I think they should sign in free agency. The Texans, much like the Jags, which you guys saw in the last video, are kind of needing a little bit of everything. So if I was them, I'd try to find a mid-tier tight end in free agency. I would maybe go for a quarterback in the draft. And yeah, this video I think is going to be a lot shorter than the first one just because I have to talk about a lot less in this one. But the Texans need a little bit of everything, much like the Jags. I think the draft is where you might want to look more towards the defensive side of the football, and you want to sign free agents more on the offensive side. But other than that, with the Texans, it's kind of hard to tell where they're going to go. You're going to get a different coach, different owner already, in the building. So whatever the regiment had beforehand planned isn't going to be the case anymore. And it's also 2 years after Bill O'Brien's departure from the team. So there's a lot of moving pieces for the Texans, not as many so for the Jaguars because it's only like a one-year coach going to a different coach now. And also, I don't know what the salary cap situation for the Texans are, to be quite frank with you. I know the Jaguars are up in the upper 5 or 6 teams that have a ton of cap, along with the Chargers, who I'll make a video about probably next because free agency is fastly approaching, and I would like to get my thoughts out on my own team a little bit sooner than any other team I'll be covering. But yeah, I'm sorry for this one being shorter. Texans, much like the Jags, are kind of in shambles right now, and there's a lot that needs to get done. And definitely, I didn't want to do a ton of research for this one, just because I feel like there's not enough fans of this team for me to put as much effort into this one or the Jaguars one. I promise, though, the Chargers one, whether I do that next or the next one after next, will probably have a lot of detail. And a lot more of the teams I'll be going over, probably, there are 32 teams, obviously. These two are the ones I think have the least amount of fans. The rest of them, I think, have a pretty solid fan base, so I kind of want to spend more time on those ones. Apologize if you are a Texans or Jags fan, but that's just how I see it. That's not to say that I wouldn't have put more effort into this or less effort into this, depending on the fan bases, but this is just how I think I would have gone about it, and with how completely, utterly screwed this team is right now, I just don't think I can pinpoint any specific moves to make outside of positions. But anyways, thank you guys for watching this one. I'll probably start recording the next one right after this one, if not tomorrow. Thank you guys for watching. Comment down below what you would do if you were the Texans owner. Maybe give me some ideas for what, if you were the owner, if you would do the same things I just mentioned doing, or if it's less likely you'll do any of those things. But I'll see you guys in that video. Bye.